Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into something truly revolutionary in the world of education, Meta for education. And that's right, Meta is bringing the power of virtual reality and mixed reality directly into the classroom. And the results are incredible. So what exactly is Meta for Education? It's a new offering that provides educators with access to MetaQuest devices using Meta Horizon managed solutions designed specifically for education. So this means easy management of the devices, the users, the apps, all tailored for an education environment. Now, this isn't just theory. Meta has been working with over a dozen colleges and universities across the US and the UK in a beta program since last spring and 2024 spring. Gathering valuable feedback, they came up with results, and the educators are finding that VR and MR, virtual reality and mixed reality, make learning more engaging and memorable. I'm sure that's no shock to anyone. It's pretty clear a lot of the benefits that VR has to offer. I just don't think people understand the accessibility or how specific we can really get with it without, abusing these tools like we do with our mobile phones or something. Now, Nick Clegg is the president of global affairs at Meta, and he actually used to be the UK deputy prime minister. And I'm just going to read his quote. Let me just read his quote. Improving the life chances of children through education has been something I've been interested in throughout my careers in politics and technology. All of the technological advances I've witnessed at Meta, immersive technologies like virtual and augmented reality really caught my imagination because of the potential they have to transform the way we learn. My hope is that through Meta for Education, we can make it easier for students to learn, practice, and apply new skills. Feel a sense of presence with teachers and classmates, and visit places or experience things that would otherwise be impossible. Most importantly, I hope it helps teachers do what they do best, teach. And I could absolutely see that happening. So what are the benefits? Well, thanks to the immersive nature of virtual reality and mixed reality, I pronounce those perfectly, they allow students to experience things that would otherwise be impossible. And I think this is going to be the core of how we use these things. So imagine exploring, a molecular structure of a chemical compound. You're in there and CH and H and if you know, or witnessing historical events firsthand, like the Mount Vesuvius exploding in Pompeii. And if we look at the numbers, there's 83 inspired education group schools. So universities and schools are already seeing success with Meta for Education. I mean, lots of real big universities. These are the ones who got started with the beta program last year, as well as the Inspired Education Group, which is a group of schools that consists of 83 schools. I mean, they're saying that 90% of the students that used it increased engagement and interest, that 25% got a boost in confidence. I mean, who even thought that would have an impact? But they had more confidence after using these, the MetaQuest for Education. And teachers found it valuable. 85% of teachers said it enhanced their teaching. And let's be honest, teachers, people might not know this. We don't like a lot of new stuff. I do, because I'm all about tech, but a lot of teachers, they don't, some of the hardest parts of this stuff is getting the teachers to buy into it. Because there's a slight learning curve, and what they're doing is very effective. They're great teachers and they're getting a lot done. And they're like, why should I change things? Or why do I have to change things? Because when you change, no matter what, in the beginning, it's not as good. But, it's like when, a golfer has a perfect swing and they're doing really good, but they want to improve it. So they change something in their swing. And at first it makes them play worse, but then eventually it catches up and makes better. So students really got an academic performance increase on multiple choice tests. It was 15% increase. Any increase is great, but just even if it was the same, that's pretty cool. So, and I mentioned those universities. I mean, we're talking like Morehouse College, New Mexico State. In the UK, it's like the University of Leeds, Glasgow, lots. The Savannah College of Art and Design, Michigan, lots of schools. And the director of instructional technology at San Diego State is Dr. Sean Hawes, and he says it like this. This is a really great way to put it. We're not replacing things that we can do in person, like have dialogue and face-to-face interactions, but we're exploring things like going into outer space and observing the Earth and phases of the moon from that perspective, or going underwater or across international boundaries, where in some cases, students can't do that for a variety of reasons. Yeah, it's very clear why we can't, like, you can't take a kid to the moon to go learn something. It's pretty expensive. All right, including physical accessibility. We're empowering students to do things that would be out of reach otherwise. You know, listen, what would be the best way, the coolest, most awesome way to really teach kids, let's say a historical event, and you want to teach them about Pompeii and how Mount Vesuvius exploded and it happened so quickly. Well, a lot of us know the story of that, and if you don't, it's something in history, right? The most awesome way that's actually possible, short of like having a time machine and going back there and safely watching it from a distance or something, I mean, that would be pretty tragic. The best thing you could do, like, just imagine you had a set, you know, like a movie set. We're talking like Mr. Beast production style, like all the resources you have, and then we hire actors and historians, and, you know, a student could go in there and they would like have holograms to play out the explosion. And, you know, these are things that are technically possible. And that would be the number one way to teach a student, is let them go in there and role play, and the actors are talking to them, and, you know, they can say things, and there could be little quizzes in there. And I couldn't imagine how much fun that would be for a kid. It'd be like the best field trip. But like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do that for however millions of students there are. You know, that's just so impractical, obviously. But you can do that with a MetaQuest. Okay, we don't want to replace teaching. We would just want to supplement it. You know, maybe these things would just be 10, 15-minute lessons. You put it on and you know, a student has their turn with it. They do a short lesson, and because it's so immersive, they are, you know, really paying attention. It's much harder to be distracted when you're in this virtual environment. And plus, you know, Meta, they partnered with Victory XR. They're a huge educational technology company. They do stuff with AI and 3D AI. I don't know. They do tons of stuff. But they, together, one of their projects is with Meta, they created 30 metaversities, okay, including some digital twin campuses. So they replicated some campuses, put it in VR. And so there's like the University of Leeds, the University of Basque Country, and the University of Hanover. Those are virtual campuses that allow students to explore, socialize, and participate in classes remotely. Okay, so what can we do now? If you're an educator or an administrator, you could explore bringing Meta for education to your institution. You know, this technology is available now, and it's designed to make immersive learning accessible and manageable. The cost may be $300, $400, $500 per headset, but it will pay for itself. I mean, how much does a book cost? You know, a book costs $30, $40, $50 for these textbooks. And I mean, for the price of, you know, 10 textbooks, you have this one VR headset that can be passed around and used from student to student, 15, 20-minute sessions, the entire grade. If you have like, you know, 80 kids in that grade, all third grade, all seventh grade, whatever. And the classes can take turns, and the students can take turns, put 2 or 3 on at a time. So if you're interested in learning more, check out the links in the description. Let me know in the comments what you think about VR and mixed reality education, especially if you're skeptical. I don't believe in, you know, the haters and the naysayers thing. I think people just view things differently. I mean, some people are haters, but not with like educational technology. You know, it's a pretty positive crowd. So, you know, tell me what you think. If you're skeptical, let me know, and I I will look into it. I will set up videos, because I really think the hardest part of VR is the marketing it to people to show them the experience. You just can't show it in a 2D environment and understand what it's like. And by 2D, I mean, I can take what is happening in the headset and record it and play it for you in video, which I do all the time. But it's 2D, it's stretched out, it's not the same, definition in graphics. So, but don't forget, like my channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Is that still a thing? Poke, nudge, I don't know. And then if you want more, tech and education updates, check me out, Teacher Danny. Thanks for watching.